Hello. Adrian here. Today, I am going to show you how to start your adventure with Supremacy. Before starting the game, we need to prepare our own army. For this we need one headquarters card. 40 cards that will be in the main deck. Remember that we can have a maximum of 4 of the same card. Also for the game we need a support deck. Here there is only an upper limit which restricts us to have a maximum of 40 cards. Cards that belong to the support deck have an icon in the upper left corner, while the symbol that appears indicates the limit of copies of the same card. Special units and ability cards, just like the main deck, have a limit of up to 40 cards. There are also elite cards which we can have a maximum of 1 copy. And economy cards don't have limit. Remember that without economic cards you won't be able to spawn units or use abilities, because these cards produce resources. And here is an example of deck we have constructed. As you can see, we have one headquarters card. 40 cards in the main deck. You'll notice that none of these cards have an icon in the upper left corner. Below we have support deck. As you can see, we have only 35 cards. This is quite sufficient. Before we start playing game, I'm going to give some more info on what each card contains. The most important thing of each unit is power, cost, and its skills. Sometimes the type of unit is important. Here is the battle zone. Our objective is to destroy opponent's base. Players decide who will start game. By a dice roll, coin toss, or by paper, stone, scissors. Before starting first turn, we take 7 cards from the top of the main deck. And then we place them face down next to our headquarters card. We call the pile of these cards HQ parts. Then we take 4 cards from the top of the main deck into our hand. If we don't like cards that we have in our hand, we can use mulligan. This means that cards we choose in our hand go to the bottom of main deck. And we take from top of main deck as many cards as we discarded. We can use this move only once before start game. Support deck is a public place. This means that our opponent can see what cards are in there. The second difference between the decks is that from the main deck we take cards from the top, while from the support deck we choose cards which we have permission. As you can see in the video, our headquarters has a passive ability that allows us to call cards from the support deck that cost 0. This is first turn, so we can only take 1 card from both decks in total, because we don't have more to do. Now it's opponent's turn. As we can see, opponent has placed 2 economy cards. Apparently, he didn't have any units that cost 2 or less. Now it's our turn. We place 2 economy cards so that we can place a unit in the battle zone that costs 3 resources. To pay for that card, we need to turn enough economy cards 90 degrees. Every unit being summoned has to wait 1 turn because it has summoning sickness. Opponent during his turn summoned a drone unit that is stronger than our Rikirian. However, now it is our turn. Remember to get all your cards into the ready position at the beginning. This time I decided that I would take 2 cards from top of main deck. Sadly, we didn't get any interesting cards to play with. We use ability card, which is an action. It allows us to call economy card into our hand. Any card that is used or destroyed is placed in graveyard. What the graveyard is a pile of discarded cards. To make our unit a little stronger, we add an equipment card to it, which gives an extra 100 points of power. This card stays with our unit until it is destroyed, then both cards are placed in the graveyard. Time to attack. Opponent's unit is in a ready position. We cannot attack these units. We can only attack opponent's base. Each time a headquarters card takes damage, its owner draws a card from pile that is next to it. This pile is called HQ parts. This is what the playing field looks like after a few turns. The battle was hard fought, but victory is on our side. At the beginning of the turn we take not 2 but 3 cards thanks to the satellite we have. Remember that there is no limit on taking cards from the support deck or the main deck. We are limited by the total limit, so we can take 3 economy cards, or 2 economy cards and 1 from the main deck. The choice is up to us. The important thing is to stick to the total limit. I choose 3 cards from the main deck. It so happens that my opponent has a valuable economy card. I can't attack it directly. First I have to destroy the opponent's HQ part. Now I can attack his economy cards until the end of turn. My opponent has very little left to defend. I destroyed his last card in HQ parts. And then I make a direct attack at his headquarters and I have won the game. We have not lost a single card from HQ parts. This is too good to be true. However, what if we were in trouble? Our opponent attacks us, so we have to defend ourselves. Units that have Guardian can block attacks from opponent's units. I let him make a second unit attack in the hope that I would get a good card. Unfortunately, this did not help. I defend myself with the last card. The opponent deals the final blow to my base. Of the things I have yet to mention are: you can hold a maximum of 10 cards in your hand at the end of the turn, otherwise you must discard enough cards from your hand to fit within that limit. The other thing that is important is what if we have no more cards in the main deck? Game ends. And then the player who has more cards in the HQ parts wins. If both players have the same number of cards in HQ parts, then you have to count sum of cost of the cards in both graveyards, then the player whose graveyard has the smaller sum wins. This tutorial shows only basics that are required. In the next episode, I will explain ability cards in more detail.